Hi there. I'm still in the mood for Cinco de Mayo. I wanted to show you a few tips before we get started on making my salsa. So, I don't know how many of you have ever worked with an avocado. Just a few ideas here for those who haven't. What I do is the long, you see the long, it's not a round, it's usually oblong like this. And so we want to cut right down the middle of that, okay, around and back around again, okay, just like that, just like that. Just keep going around, and it swings right out. See that? And then we take out this seed or this. So we're going to pull this out, and we're going to throw that out. And it's really, a lot of people, think, oh, I don't think I could do it. I don't know how to do it. It's real simple. So now we scoop this out with a teaspoon, kind of work around the edges of the shell, around the edges of the shell. And this is a really nice one because they can get really brown and a dark green, not appetizing at all. So this one is really nice. When you buy them, try to get them to where they're not too soft. The darker the shell, the more it's ripe. Okay, when you see it in the store and they're kind of green, grab a couple for yourself and leave them on the counter. And they will, within a few days or so, start darkening up. Now, if they get soft, then you don't want them. That's when you get that funny dark color. And it's just, they're starting to really, they're overripe and they're no good anymore. And you can eat them, but I don't know, somehow the color distracts me. I can't do it. So another way to keep it green like that is to squeeze, wait, excuse me, I have to rinse my hand a little bit here. Squeeze some lime on this, okay? Squeeze a little lime on it. So I have them out here already. Get your limes out at room temperature. This one's not, some will be really juicy and some will not. Let's try this one. Not so good. I want a little bit more than I'm getting here. Sometimes I think that when they sell these limes and they're hard inside, then you know that they're not quite ripe. So anyway, that's that. And I just break that up, break it up, and put a little salt on it. A little salt, just a little salt, and a little pepper. A little pepper. How about even a little garlic pepper? Wait, let me find that one here. Well, it's hiding on me right now, but I don't want to take that time. So a little garlic pepper if you have it. Now you can, I chopped up some garlic, and you could put a few in there if you want to, and you don't really have to. And then when you just mash it up with the garlic and the little salt and pepper, that's really all it needs, okay? The next thing I want to show you is if you work with a jalapeno. If you've never worked with one before, this is just a few tips that I learned as I kept doing these things. Now, I'm going to cut along the length of the jalapeno. Okay, I've grown these in my yard, and they grow pretty. They do really well in the garden. So now here, you see this part right here, the membrane and the seed. That's where the hot stuff is. So if you want it hot, you'd put this in your dish, in your salsa. Now, I don't want it that hot because I can't handle it anymore. I used to love it a little spicier, but it just doesn't do well for me. And so I'm going to pull that off, and you can just scrape that off with a teaspoon like I'm doing. Now, you can use a little bit for a little cup of these seeds, but now the next thing is I want to tell you, see my hands here? you don't ever want to go near your eyes. You don't want to go near your eyes or anywhere near your face. You don't want it near your children or the pets. Be really careful. You know, my dog, something falls on the floor and she's there pronto. So there it is. Just a few tips about the jalapeno, which we will be using in our salsa. The next thing that I'd like to show you is these are the best kind of little tomatoes. You see them all. They're cheaper than most of the others, and they have them all over. I forget the name. You'll have to forgive me. But again, when you, also the knife you use for the jalapeno, wash everything. Wash your hands and wash the knife off. Okay. And that's about all I can think of right now in the way of that jalapeno. Now, when you cut the tomato, you notice this, usually tomatoes are round. This particular kind is oval. They're always oval. And the reason I like them is because they're not as seeded. You know, they're not so, they have more pulp to them. But what I want you to do for a salsa, I don't like it real watery, and it's going to get watery. I pull all that out. See how I do that just with my hand? You can do it with a teaspoon too. So you're going to get those seeds out because we don't want it watery. We don't want the salsa to be watery. And I just take that out and cut that little end off where the stem is. Okay, there it is, like that. Otherwise, you know, when you start adding other ingredients and the salt, etc., it starts to get watery. And I tried, it's going to anyway, because this is all, the vegetable has a lot of water in it. So just another tip to when you make your salsa. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take these little green parts off our strawberries. I happen to get some beautiful strawberries, and they are sweet and delicious, and they're nice and big. And I put that also into my salsa. So we're going to, you'll see as we put it, now we're just putting it all together. This is what I do. Get everything together for yourself. And it gets to be fun. Other people can even join in and help you when you do this. All right, so I'm going to put some of these strawberries in. I've already cut up my red peppers. My red pepper. I've got my jalapeno now cut. I showed you how I took the seeds out. For me, I'm just going to use the green. And we made our salsa. And now, rather, we made our avocado. By the way, the tomato that I was referencing to, and they do say oblong. That's the way to recognize. It's a Roma tomato. I had to look it up for the life of me. I couldn't think of it. All right, so we're going to chop these little strawberries up, and they'll be another part of our salsa. It makes it a sweet, you know, they put strawberries in your margarita. There you go. I'm going to add about a teaspoon of sugar to those strawberries. Let them sit in that sugar for a little while, you know, and just get a nice, maybe another teaspoon. There you go. Go for it, right? And let that kind of soak up that sugar when we put it into our salsa. Now, I started this, my blender here going, and I'm going to add now some more. I put some at the bottom just to get it going. I'm going to add some more tomatoes, and now you see how I cut them up, and I took out the seeds from these Roma, I don't want to forget again, Roma tomatoes, all right? So here we go, and we're going to add a little onion, which I chopped up earlier. As I say, get this done for yourself, and then it's just a matter of throwing it together. This is not hard to do, but you do have to go through this preliminary chopping up of stuff, but it's worth it, let me tell you. A little bit more garlic. And what I do is when I add the tomato, I add a little cilantro to go with it, like so. And I'm not going to salt it. I'm going to wait until this goes down a bit, and then we can do that at the end. And basically, this is really it. The jalapeno, I'm going to add a little more jalapeno, just a couple of these. And so you have cilantro, of course, your lime juice, and I'm going to give you a hint. I'm noticing that all these limes are just not giving me as much of the juice as I would like. So, what do we do when we do that? Well, instead, I am going to take off some of that. I'm going to take off some of that top of that lime, like we did with like you do with oranges or that. You take the zest of the lime. That's probably even better than the juice. I mean, got more flavor there. And we'll see at the end, if we need more, we can always add it. I have to, wait a minute, I have to stir something here. I've got some rice going here. Okay. So, I've got to watch these kettles, right? Okay, so now I'm going to put this top back on. And I'll tell you something, this is fairly new, this one, and so I had to test it out. I hope I got it right. Oh, so here, I see how this goes. I'm not very mechanical, I can tell you that. Okay, so I think I've got that on there good. No, I must not. I'm going to give it, oh, well, it would help if I plugged it in. What do you think? Would help, wouldn't it? Okay. No, it wouldn't. All right, so it's still not on there. There it goes. Well, let's take that off. Wait. Okay, I'm going to turn it off now. You'll have to bear with me. I'm new at this one. I have a tiny little one, and I thought I'd get one a little bigger for myself. So you want a bowl ready so that if you have to do it in batches, you can. All right, so that's that part. And here's the rest of this salsa. We're just going to bring it down. That looks good. We got a little chunk of a tomato here, which we're going to have to take out. Yeah. We'll have to take it out. At the end, we'll take it out. Okay. So I'll put my little machine back over here. We don't have to make much more than that anyway, just to show you how to do that. If you have a big chunk of a tomato, just take it out. Okay, so there it is. There's the salsa. I don't know how well you're seeing that, but I am going to now add a couple of those. Well, no, maybe not. Maybe I'm going to try this first. Let's see where we're at. Okay. Taste is there, but it definitely needs salts, and that's why I like to wait. I'm going to do half a teaspoon. I'm very careful with the salt, because when I add too much, then I'm not happy with it. Okay, so now I'm going to add a couple of these strawberries that we sugared, which I normally add a little sugar to my salsa anyway. But I'm not putting it in the blender. I want this to be just a little bit more crunch, so that when I bite into it, I go, oh, I've got a strawberry in my mouth. That's good. With a little sugar. All right. I do the same thing with my red pepper. I don't like to chop it up. I like to have it in there. Otherwise, it's too, it gets watery, and I like the crunch. So I'm going to put some red peppers in there, and I'm going to put now the strawberries that we have added a little sugar to. I don't know, that just makes it. I do this in the summertime with a lot of strawberries. It's really good. Well, they put strawberries in their margaritas, right? So there it is. There's your salsa. We'll get some chips out, okay? Are you ready for our taco time? So we can enjoy what we have been working on so hard? Why do we love Cinco de Mayo? We love the food and we love their margaritas too. Now what I did is I bought some corn tortillas, all right? And you can put them in a little pan, or what I did, I just steamed them between two paper towels, and I dampened them just a little bit. Okay, so here is what we have in front of us. All this wonderful food that we've made, and it's just loaded with jalapenos, green onions, a little cheese, our salsa, our avocado, made so nicely with a lime, a little chicken left over. I had a roasted chicken, and half of the breast we couldn't finish it. I just, shredded it up a little bit, and some rice. And this rice I make, it's in a recipe just came out now on my video with my Italian sausage. And I made the same rice, I just love it. So I'm gonna put that at the bottom of my tortilla. Just a little. It's got sticking power, right? You could put beans, refried beans, or smash up some black beans, okay? I'm gonna take a little bit of that chicken that I have, that I shredded up. And I'm gonna put a little bit of that salsa now on the top of that. Oh my goodness gracious, I can't wait. A little salsa with those strawberries. Are you kidding me? A little avocado. Get that in there. You can smear it around. Then a little cheese, huh? A little cheese. I hope you're seeing all that. Okay, and then a little green onion. I don't know, something about green onions. Anyway, that's our little taco. That's our little taco. And you want a little bit more sauce maybe on that, just a little more salsa. And I double up on my corn tortilla. Now you're going to watch me eat this. I hope you I feel sort of guilty, but I'm just going to button that up right there. And what can I say? I love to cook, and I also like to eat, and that's another reason I cook. I want to show you, this is, whoops. Geez, I nearly dropped the whole thing. Here I go. I'm going to have to move this down just a little bit because I prosciutted something. Okay, here we go. Wow. Hooray for Cinco de Mayo. Am I right? Look at that. Is that delicious? Everybody loves that food, don't we? What I wanted to tell you too is that I came across some chips to go with our salsa, and they are white bean chips, and this is cauliflower tortilla chips with a little natural flavor. How wonderful is that? Now we have some strawberries here that I want to show you, and let's go down with this. Here's our strawberries. And how about this, guys? When you take the little leaf off the strawberry, I want you to do this. Look at this. I made a little hole. Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put some sugar right in there. Oh boy, that's gonna be good. Mix a nice little juice. And that's what's in this salsa, that juice. So let's see if we go like this. All right, now take a little chip and we go into our salsa like that. Oh my goodness gracious. I wish you were here to enjoy this with me, but I gave you the lead as to how to do all these wonderful things. And it's fun. And as I say, do a little, like an hour maybe you spend chopping, just getting it ready. You put it all together. And if you want my rice recipe, there's a little peas and corn in here. I put lime juice in here. It's really good. And it's on my video with my Italian sausage, which just went up today. So the little corn tortillas that I used, you just steam them a little bit, You can steam them in the micro, and look at all that yummy goodness. I hope you enjoyed my recipe. I hope you have a little party, invite some people over, and I hope you try my recipe. Bye-bye.